Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for joining us. So, the Gayatri mantra. This is the oldest mantra. It comes out of the Rig Veda. And, the line of thought, if we listen to Western scholars, is this is probably about 3,600 years old. However, if we look at Vedic sources and Hindu scholars, this may be as much as around 8 or 9,000 years old, perhaps even older. So it could be the oldest mantra, one of the oldest religious texts that we have anywhere. And it's a very powerful mantra, and we could say that from experience, can't we, Cindy?
Indeed, it is my favorite mantra, and this mantra really, really lifts my brain up into my higher self, and I just love it.
It's got a beauty all unto its own. And I was going to share with you at the end about a great source. So this is Deva Premal and her husband Mitten. And right now they actually have been doing a global Gayatri mantra meditation, and they had over 150,000 people join them yesterday. And these are two of the most beautiful souls walking on the planet, as they exude absolute pure peace and love that is completely infectious. And they will be coming to Sarasota, Florida later this year. I had an opportunity to see them and miss them, and this time I don't want to miss it. They'll be in Sarasota in April, and she's definitely has the voice of a deva. And in case you don't know, devas are basically benevolent higher beings, kind of like the gods of mythology, but benevolent beings. So I'll have a link to this, and you could actually listen to them do this mantra. And this is just 48 minutes ago that they did this for the second day in a row. And going into what this mantra is, well, the Gayatri mantra is one of the oldest, most powerful of the Sanskrit mantras. It's believed that by chanting the Gayatri mantra and firmly establishing it in the mind, you can carry on your life and you can do the work that is ordained for you. And your life will be full of happiness. The word Gayatri itself explains the reason for the existence of this mantra. It has its origin in the Sanskrit phrase, and some of these words are tough, so I may butcher a few. I'm used to most of these. By Gayatam Trayati Iti. And it refers to that mantra which rescues the character from all adverse situations that may lead to mortality. The goddess Gayatri is also called Vedamata, or Mother of the Vedas, the Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva Vedas. There's 4 Vedas, because it is the very basis of the Vedas. It is the basis, the reality behind the experienced and the cognitive universe. So the Gayatri mantra is composed of a meter consisting of 24 syllables, generally arranged in a triplet of 8 syllables each. Therefore, this particular meter, Tripadi, is also known as the Gayatri meter, or the Gayatri Chanda. So the mantra itself is or Om, Bhur Bhuvasva, Tat Savitur Varenyam, Bargo Devyasa Dimahi, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. And there are multiple meanings in each word. There's layers to it. But basically, you could take it to mean, O thou existence, absolute, creator of the 3 dimensions, we contemplate upon thy divine light. May he stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge. Or we could also take it as, O divine mother, our hearts are filled with darkness. Please make this darkness distant from us and promote illumination within us. So we'll take a look at each word in there. So Om, or Om, is also called the Pranav because its sound emanates from the prana, life force, the vital vibration which feels the universe. The scripture says, and it's Om Iti Ek Akshara Brahman, Om, that the one syllable is Brahman. And Brahman is the creator of the material universe. So when we think of the three gods in Hinduism, you have the three main gods, basically the first trinity. You have Brahma, the creator, and you have Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. And so when you pronounce Om, you see here, the A sound emerges from the throat, originating in the region of the navel. The U rolls over the tongue. The M ends on the lips. A is waking, U is dreaming, M is sleeping. It's the sum and substance of all the words that can emanate from the human throat. It is the primordial, fundamental sound, symbolic of the universal absolute. And so you have the Viharitis, Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha. The above three words of the Gayatri, which literally mean past, present, and future, are called the Viharitis. Viharithi is that which gives knowledge of the entire cosmos, or Hariti. The scripture goes on, and so I'll cut it a little bit shorter for you guys, but going back to the remaining words, Tat, it just means that. Savitur means divine sun, ultimate light of wisdom, not to be confused with the ordinary sun. So we could view this as the ultimate source. Varenium means adore. Bargo means illumination. Devayasa means divine grace. Dimahi means we contemplate. Di means intellect. Yo means who. Na means ours. And prachodayat means requesting, urging, or praying. So the last five words constitute a prayer for final liberation through the awakening of our true intelligence. Finally, it needs to be mentioned that there are a number of meanings of the three main words and of this mantra given in the scriptures. And so here we could see different meanings of it. Under Bhu, earth, past, morning, tamas, or gross. Bhuva, atmosphere, present, noon, rajas, or subtle. And Swaha, beyond the atmosphere, future, evening, sattva, and causal. So it's a beautiful, beautiful mantra as we look at it here again. And this is the Gayatri goddess as it is envisioned. So, one of the things you might think of is, well, why does she have so many heads and so many arms? So when you see in Hinduism a being with one head, two arms, two legs, that's a physical incarnation. So when we look at like Krishna or Rama, Sita, Radhe, these are physical incarnations of divine beings. So they're depicted with the normal two arms and two legs and one head. When we see two arms and two legs, well, not always two legs, but two arms, that's signifying something that's getting multidimensional. And when we see multiple heads and arms, like we do here, or when you look at some depictions of Brahma, that's expressing the multidimensionality of the being and the higher level of consciousness. As the more heads and the more arms, the higher the level of consciousness. And here we look at it again. It's such a beautiful, beautiful mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenium Bargo Devyasa Dimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. The splendid magnificence of Savitur. So Savitur is the cosmic sun, permeating the three worlds, the earth, space, and the heavens, is assuredly Savitri, the inspirer, life-giver, the stimulative force. May we meditate on the life-giving divinity. Savitri assuredly is God, and therefore meditate on the splendor. May He illuminate our intelligence. May He Himself breathe into us. And so we're looking way beyond, and it's not like worshiping per se something like one of the Anunnaki or any being that was necessarily here physically on Earth. This is worshiping the essence. And when we look at Shiva and Shakti, what we're seeing really is Shiva is that potentiality for life. Shiva literally means that which is not, because it hasn't taken form yet. And when we look at Shakti, that is form in the material universe. So that's the mother goddess of this existence. And united, they are the life-giving force and that which drives all of the existence that we have in this world. And there's a couple other takes, so I'll give you guys the links to these other ones. It is most definitely one of the most blessed mantras that we can do. It elevates our consciousness so high it could change your mood in a matter of moments. And this is out of Yoga Journal on why to do it and the history and the meaning. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And as we say, Gayatri is the mother of all scriptures. And there has been a very concerted effort in the West to not let us know how ancient this is. And it is very, very ancient. And as we see here, Sri Yugaswar, who was the guru of Parahamsa Yogananda in his holy science, he basically relates the fifth and last Manu, or founder of Indian civilization, to a period that ended around 6700 BCE. So we're talking 8700 years ago. And so there's fragments that we have found recording a tradition of 153 kings in India going back over 6,400 years, back to the date around 6,700 BCE. And because of the wording of it, this and the way it was written, and also the planetary alignments given, this is very ancient, and it is perhaps 3 times as ancient, or even 4 times as ancient as much of or most of, if not all of, the biblical texts. So far, far more ancient. And it inherently has a power to it. The words have a power to it. So saying it in Sanskrit is very, very powerful. Somebody had before made a comment, why are we doing mantras in the original Sanskrit instead of saying it in English? And it's because it has more power, because that language was more powerful and more pure than English. And English, and that's a show unto itself, is in many ways a curse. And we've gone into that, like with spelling, putting a spelling. There's just so many occurrences of this in English. Good morning. Why would you want to wish somebody a good morning? It's been concocted in such a way as to have a lot of, in many cases, negative power to it, where Sanskrit will most definitely lift your consciousness. So as always, my friends, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. Much blessings of love and peace and happiness to you. Namaste.